Madison had a wonderful phrase. He said, "War is the true wet nurse of executive aggrandizement." And he said that a nation in a state of continual warfare will not long be free. They intended, passionately and without question, that those who would respect and honor the Constitution they wrote would embrace impeachment as an essential act of the Republic. In the first 70, 80 years of the country, it was well understood. In the worst war this country entered into, aside from the current one, and there have been many bad wars, but in the worst of them all, the invasion and occupation of Mexico in the 1840s for the purpose of seizing the land of a sovereign nation and using that seized land to spread slavery so that slavery could not be voted out by the people of the country, to make certain that the original sin of the American experiment would never be cleansed. And that is what the war, what the invasion of Mexico, the occupation of Mexico was about. There was a great anti-war movement. A congressman, a young congressman was elected. He came to Washington with the purpose of challenging President James K. Polk's arguments for the invasion of Mexico. He said that Polk had lied about the reasons for going to war. Polk had claimed that Americans had been attacked by Mexicans. Each day, in the well of the House of Representatives, this congressman came to the floor and he laid down what was called a spot resolution. A simple resolution in which he said, "I demand to know the spot on which a single American drop of blood was shed at the hand of a Mexican." And James K. Polk never answered that demand. And so this congressman, as well as a former president of the United States, John Quincy Adams, moved the censure of President Polk. And they had the guts. They had the guts not merely to censure the president, but to say that no medals should be awarded to anyone dispatched to that war by President Polk, because no American should ever be honored for fighting in a colonial war. That congressman was called to account as he spoke of impeachment and censure of the president. His former law partner wrote him and said, "You cannot do this in a time of war. Think of our troops who are fighting. Think of the honor of the country. You cannot be questioning the president in a time of war." The congressman wrote back to his former law partner, "The provision of the Constitution giving the war-making power to Congress was dictated, as I understand it, by the following reasons. Kings had always been involving and impoverishing their people in wars, pretending generally, if not always, that the good of the people was the object of the war. This, our Constitutional Convention understood to be the most oppressive of all kingly oppressions, and they resolved to so frame the Constitution that no man should hold the power of bringing this oppression upon the American people. Your suggestion that presidents must be allowed to make war as they choose, and that they should not be sanctioned in a time of war, destroys the whole matter of the American experiment and places our president where kings have always stood. Sincerely, Abraham Lincoln." Lincoln's words are instructive to this day. They are the essential words. Because surely, George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, with a war based on whims and lies, have taken us to the point of elected despotism. If we do not impeach them, we are placing the president where kings have always stood, and future presidents will stand that ground. This, fundamentally, is the point of impeachment. This is the genius of impeachment.